Ooh. There you go. And that's that white. Red.
Whoops.
Oh my god.
Hey, what's happening? So today we're gonna do something special. We're gonna go visit a friend of ours that does powder coating and blasting and stuff at his house, and he has his own built place for it, which is really cool. I can't wait to see it. So we're gonna stop by his place and we're gonna paint that turbo inlet. You wanna call it an inlet? That's where the intake pulls in all the air. But anyway, you have to pardon me if my terminology for these things is a little askew. So we're gonna take a trip down there, see what he's got to offer, and see how it's done. All right. So what's up, Nate? Ooh, this is Nate. He's got the turbo all taped up there. So that's the high, what is it? Can you explain that tape a little bit?
This tape's a silicone tape. It's a high heat tape. We tried to use like painter's tape, and that stuff would dry out and chip off, and it would ruin the powder coat. So we went to the powder coating ovens at work and figured out what the heck they were using to tape off their parts. And we saw this transparent green stuff, and it's like a silicone based tape. It's not super duper sticky, but it sticks to the metal and it doesn't get affected by the heat.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So then what are we gonna do? We just talked about doing this part down here.
Yeah, I'm not done taping it off yet. I've got to get all of the machine parts, that way all the clearances line up. You know, when you want to bolt this turbo back in, you don't want it to be like tight and scraping. So we got to finish taping off around this lip right here. I got to get this threaded hole covered up or threaded in somehow. And I think that should be it.
Cool.
And I think the idea is, if it's not too complicated, I want to dust this area with a nice red, and then go back when it was dry and tape off all the letters, and then hit the whole thing with black. That way the letters will be red, the whole thing will be black, and it'll match the rest of the engine compartment.
So I had a comment where somebody was talking about Cerakote. So Cerakoting, is that something that you can do with a painter, or do you know anything about Cerakoting?
I don't know a whole lot about Cerakote. I know from the place that we buy our powder coat from, they advertise Cerakote, but I don't know how much different the process is. If like you need a hotter oven or what. I imagine that a powder coating machine should blast the Cerakote on the same way. I just don't know if it cures at a drastically higher temperature, because it is a lot more durable.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, cool, man. Well, let's you want to can we show them your oven?
Yeah, go in there. It's not state of the art or anything. I'm actually really proud of my oven. We were definitely on a budget when we were making this, so we got this freezer for free from Craigslist. And we went and picked it up, and the dude's like, "You know, it don't blow cold no more." And we're like, that's not a problem, because we literally got it in an oven and put an oven in the back of this thing.
Look at that. That is cool, man. Yeah. So you just put sheet steel in and...
Yep, so sheet steel on the inside of the door. We steeled up around anywhere there was plastic in here. We just took it out and put steel in, welded it up. There's flashing tape all over all the seams that we didn't know if we could weld or not. It's holding up just fine. And then this is just the circuitry from the oven, wired in into the coils from the bottom, top, and back of the oven.
Huh, so it's just oven coils back there?
Yeah, and then down there at the bottom, we had to make sure we put the temperature sensor back in. Otherwise, we couldn't set it to a proper temperature.
And it has to be at the bottom or the top?
We set it at the bottom because the heat rises. So we imagine that if the bottom is 400 degrees, the top is 450 to 500 degrees. And we hang the parts roughly in the middle.
Dude, that's cool.
Yeah,
dude,
this
that's
is
awesome.
not an exact science oven.
Look at that. So how to build your own oven on a budget. That's cool.
Yeah, that was $3.90 free. We got the oven from Craigslist too.
That's awesome. Got some coolio. So what's this, your painting machine?
Yeah, this is the powder coating machine. You can go to Harbor Freight and get like a handheld one, and they're not super expensive. But the idea was that, you know, we were small scale now, but we were hoping to go bigger scale in the future, so we got a bigger scale powder coating machine. This is your like what it wants you to put powder in, like what they do at a production facility.
Yeah.
So like they can blow the same color all day on hundreds of parts. We are a little bit more small scale than that. So we took the lid and we put a mason jar lid in there. We threaded in the little breather tube.
Dude, what'd you use for, like, just regular silicone?
No, that, so many different things. We've a lot of trial and error. I think now we are on epoxy.
Epoxy.
So we roughed up the surface and epoxied this to that, and right now it's holding really well.
Dude, that is cool. And that just hooks up to the gun? So it's just...
Yeah, well, we slide in our mason jars full of powder since we buy powder a pound or so at a time instead of 20 pounds at a time. Yeah, you just screw the mason jar into the bottom of the lid. You set the lid here on our little rack. The air comes in. It goes through this guy, and we only need like 10 psi or something, and it blasts through this. Yeah.
You want me to hold that? There. There we go.
The whole situation is.
Put that on the ring here, can't you?
Yeah.
There we go. So it blasts in through there, and then the air kicks it back up and into this tube.
Into the tube, goes all the way through the gun, and then the gun gives the powder a charge.
Look at that. I'm trying to... There you go. See if it'll focus. That little needle?
Yeah.
Huh.
There's a set of different needles and different tips for different types of things, but we've only used this one because we're not like doing giant sheets. We don't need to like spray it on like spray paint. Huh. We've only done a bunch of small parts and some rims.
Dude, that's cool.
Yeah. And then this clip up here, you ground really, really close to your part, and it's your ground, and that's what gets the static clean, gets that powder to cling to your part.
That's really cool. So this is a whole booth then. Jeez, look at that.
The original function of this room, whoever had the house before us, it's illegal to have your water heater on the outside of your house. So I think they did some remodeling, forgot to build a spot for the water heater, and attached it back here, and then we're like, oh shit, it has to be indoors. And so they built essentially a shed onto the back of the house. Like, that's a clear and distinct back door.
Right.
Yeah. And so this room, I think they used it for their dogs or for trash or something. So we went and re-roofed it with actual roof and not corrugated plastic. And since we weren't using it for anything, my dad let me powder coat in here for the time being.
That's cool. All right. Well, what do you say we get started? That's awesome. So is that the black powder right there?
No, I've got you right here with Sabletooth Black.
Sabertooth?
Sabletooth. Sabletooth. I don't know. They name these things weird. But it is a glossy black. And then I wanted to try out with this Illusion Red.
You were a little dark, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that. So
it is dark in here. I need some lights.
Oh, that's all good. It's easy. That's easy. I mean, what? A couple bucks on eBay and you got lights.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ryan took all the lights when he moved all the shit to his shop. We had a light on top of the rack and then 2 clip lights on either side of the rack, so I didn't get any shadows and I knew where I was coating.
That's awesome. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, dude, I'm kind of stoked. So yeah, we'll just kind of show how to tape that part. So yeah, let's get started on that.
Yeah, the silicone tape. You just want to cover anything you don't want powder on or in. It's not the stickiest of tape, but it likes to stick to itself. Like when I did the first layer, I stuck a big strip here, a big strip in the middle, and a big strip on the side. Then I ran 2 strips down the middle, and another thick one here. And what I'm doing right here is I'm just laying another one down, just to try to get all of the edges and all the bubbles, because I don't want any powder to creep in there, because the inside of the turbo needs to be, you know, clean and machined.
Huh. All right. So what do you just hit it with a razor knife or something on the edge?
Mm-hmm. I take that flat razor knife and I run it clean along the edge.
Cool. What was it, playtime or something? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I like him. He doesn't bark a whole lot. He whines and whimpers, but he's quiet. Alright.
Oh, okay. So it's really easy to cut. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, not a pain in the butt. Like, it's just tedious. Not really difficult or a technical skill, as much as just like something you have to do, and it's a process.
That's awesome.
There's a better job around this guy. Since we got the top done, want to get around that lip too.
You got any special tricks?
Well, first, on the parts where it's sloped, this tape isn't super flexible, so I'm not going to try to make it change planes too often, and we're just going to do it from the top down. I guess the opposite of shingles, from the bottom up.
Okay. Oh, I see. And you just fold it in on itself.
Yeah.
Ah, look at that. It's almost about to sit flat. That's cool.
It's trying. And what's cool is we don't really care if powder gets into these little cracks because I've already taped off that top hole.
Right, right.
Yeah. Mostly we've just got that first part of that lip started. And now I don't have to make one piece of tape go whoop down the little lip here, and I can just set the next one right on the next part. And get a big old chunk of that middle going. And the tape is a little bit more expensive than other tapes, but be liberal with your tape because another roll of tape is less expensive than a new turbo.
How much? how much is that little roll?
I got 2 1-inch strips and then a 2-inch strip on Amazon for like $10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not horribly expensive. It's just like more expensive than Scotch tape.
All right, so we're back, and looks like he's got the oven hooked up to what, 410 degrees, and it's not warm in here at all. That's the coolest part of it, man. Not warm. So you got your mask on. Mm-hmm. Cool. So he's got it hanging up there by the ground strap, and it'll focus. There we go. Ground strap. It's all taped up. Looks good. Got a little light back there. All right, so I'll watch you from the window. That's cool, man.
All right, we'll get started.
Anything special you gotta like turn on when you do that?
Ooh. This is the Electrostatic Adjustment. So, it's really complicated. Right now we're going to turn it down low because we're just getting on the surface.
Okay, so it's just like the less amount of electricity is just kind of like for surfacing and not trying to get the whole thing.
Also, if it's like your third coat and you got a bunch of powder on there, you're going to want to turn it up because it's going to need, a lot more voltage to kind of clean through the material.
Huh. Okay, cool. Well, let's give it a shot. So that was it? Oh, look at that. It's like orange almost.
Yeah, actually it looks pretty sweet before the powder's even cured.
Good to go? Awesome. You look kind of cool with that mask on. Like some kind of anarchist or something. Well, cool. All right, so I think we'll let that cook and then we'll let it cure.
Yep. So I'll bake for 11 minutes and we'll pull out and let it cure on the cooling rack, which is my very sophisticated oven rack screwed to the ceiling. It'd be about half an hour, I would say, before I'd like to touch it again. And then what we'll do is we'll go and tape off all the letters, take the razor knife and pull out all of that. And then we just powder coat it black.
Cool. Well, I'm excited. This is cool. This is new to me. Awesome. All right, so it'll be fast for you and slow for us. So be right back. So there's time to pull it out.
Yep, it's all baked. Ooh. There you go. And that's that white. Red.
Whoops.
Oh my god. Yes!
That's why we keep filming.
I know, right? It landed all on this guy. I'm so glad I just need those letters. So next time I'm going to loop it so the hook part.
Mm-hmm.
Next time I'm going to loop it so the hook part is in there and not this part. But yeah, none of those letters got touched. And that's all we want is red letters on this guy.
Cool. Well, that's alright. It looked like it landed on the bottom, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it is a little dirty down there. So I'm going to clean it up after it cures. So that's not under our black.
Accidents happen. It's alright.
Son of a bitch.
It's only a brand new turbo housing. It'll be alright. Nothing a grinder can't fix. So, you heard the man. He's going to let it cure, and then we'll put the black on, and then, let it cook and then cure again. So, here we go. Alright, so one of the things that we're going to do while they were letting that cure, which actually turned out looking pretty decent, kind of salmony, but I think this is supposed to add to it, right? So we got that color now that you just
It's a Jolly Rancher Red.
Jolly Rancher Red.
So it should deepen it a little bit, and the Jolly Rancher Red is transparent, so we should be able to see all the metal flake through that Jolly Rancher Red.
Okay.
So that salmony color underneath the transparent red should make a really deep red with a lot of sparkle.
So kind of like it's like, I don't know. That's cool. I like the metal flake. That's kind of a cool color.
If I can find the swatch, it looks like an old school hot rod red. Like it looks like a fucking vinyl seat in an old diner. Like red sparkles.
Cool.
Like Tootsie's dress or something.
Tootsie's dress. What are you doing now?
Cleaning out the salmony color from the lines, so when I plug in this stuff, it'll just be pure clean lines.
Okay.
Don't want to mix, cross-contaminate.
Right. Contaminate. Get it? Dude, that looks good. Yeah.
Come around and get this side. It looks really cool. Like.
Yeah, that looks. Yeah, it's a little dark, but there we go. That looks good, man. I almost say do the whole thing like that, but I think the letters would look a lot cooler. But I do really like that.
Yeah.
It's awesome. He's got the light.
I'll get you some more light for your shop there.
That looks good,
Yeah.
man. That's cool. That's good looking.
Yeah.
That's gonna get a little darker when you cook it.
Yeah, you'll see it when it comes out. It should look pretty sweet.
Awesome. All right, so let's check out and see what you got.
Alright, now look at that.
Dude, it's like candy apple. That is awesome. That looks good.
That's what I'm talking about. That's...
Look at that. Sexy. Woo! That is a cool red. And then when you get that black and put it over there, all that stuff will go away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's awesome. That is an awesome. I like that deep red. This is gonna look sick. Thank you, dude.
Yeah, see, that's the red we were going for. The first orange was a little bit salmony, and so with that Jolly Rancher over the top, it came out really deep, but still really sparkly, and that's what I was going for.
Awesome.
It's like hot rod red.
Hot rod red. All right, so let's you got the letters done, which it looks cool. Got that hooked all backed up. Got your. It's almost at 410. Is that about where you had it?
Yeah, we bake it at 410. Just about all the powders are about 410, 412 degrees. So.
Right.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna turn the voltage down really low and get all these tight spots. If you turn the voltage up too high, it'll want to repel off the edges of these tight spots, and it'll look like this right here, where it's clean in the corner, and you don't want that, obviously. Yeah, so we're just going to go through with black and get the whole entire rest of the surface black. After we bake it and cure it, we'll peel off that paint, and those letters should be bright red.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oven's good to go, so I'm ready to get started.
All right, cool. Dude, look at that. Woo! Some heat coming out of there.
Oh yeah. We got the hook in the right way this time.
Look at that. I can't. There we go. I'm all like focused on it. Let me grab the light.
There we go.
Look at that. That thing came out cherry. Cool. All right. Well, guess we hang it up, right? All right. Now for the unveiling.
That peeling feeling.
Look at how that came out. Dude, thank you. I'm loving it, dude. It's cool looking. So now we're gonna do some more of the hardish kind of stuff, and that is putting that back on. and then moving forward, going from there to putting it on the motor, putting the lines up to it, making sure everything's turned just right so that the oil passages are just fine. And then we'll move on to putting the downpipe. That's going to be the hardest part, is putting the actual downpipe attachment back on the turbo. But that, to me, I'm up to the challenge, especially now that this looks so good now. So, oh, before I forget though, do you have an Instagram or anything? We want to shout this dude out. So
Just Cape Nate, CAPEDNATE.
Okay, cool. I'll make sure to remember that, and I'll put it down in the description below, and you go follow his stuff on Instagram. The guy's got really cool stuff. He does all kinds of painting stuff. He's got Groms and Yamahas and Suzukis and all kinds of different fun stuff to play with. So, all right, next time you see me, I should have that on the turbo, and let's give it a shot. So we're back, and you know good and well that I couldn't just close out this video and not let you guys see what it looks like on this motor. So what I'm getting ready to do now is put it on here, and we're gonna see what it looks like with all the other stuff that's, you know, while it's painted, but the other stuff is so it should still look okay, I hope. But I'll show you a before and after in here in just a second. Hold on. That looks so tough. Check this out. Here we go. There it is on top of the motor. I think it really does set it off. Now if I can get these looking up a little bit better, we'll be golden. Man, I'm absolutely in love. So I moved the oil inlet and outlet, so now those are in the correct position. They're both going in the downward direction. This is in a good spot. That's in a good spot. Still need to put the tube on there and then put the intake on, and she should be done. But yeah, man, I'm absolutely in love with how that turned out. Too cool. Too cool indeed. And here's before and here's after. Yeah, that looks so much better. Man, that thing is just ferocious looking. Oh, before I forget, one more thing. This little snap ring back here, you guys can see that? That thing is a pain in the neck to get out of here. And I even scuffed this up a little bit, which I wasn't very happy about, but it's okay. It's toward the back of the motor. But anyway, that little snap ring is a pain in the neck to get out of here and to move these. Gosh. So one thing to keep in mind is to use a decent pair of vice grips and a zip tie. Take the vice grips, clamp them, zip tie, loop it around those little holes, pull it tight, zip tie or vice grip, pull it tight, fits in, pull it a little bit tighter, squeeze it down, pound it down in there, and then let go. It should work. So I got this one to work, which, like I said, might have scuffed it a couple times, but you know what? It's a truck. So big shouts out to Nate. Thank you, dude, so much for doing such an awesome job. Let me get better in the light here. Thank you so much for doing an awesome job. The guy's just a great guy. I met him at work. Just a nice guy. Nice job. Thank you guys very much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode. What'd I say? Bye now. Bye now.